The arrival of the transport shuttle hummed quietly as it approached Serenity Medical Station, a massive structure that gleamed like a jewel against the star-scattered darkness of space. Through the viewport, Jackson Rivers watched the station grow. Larger, its bioluminescent panels pulsing with soft, rhythmic light that reminded him of a heartbeat. He pressed his palm against the cool glass, feeling the familiar mix of excitement and nervousness that came with new assignments. "First time to Serenity Station?" asked the pilot, a weathered woman with kind eyes. "Yes," Jackson replied, adjusting the strap of his botanical equipment case. "I'm here to study the healing gardens. Heard they've achieved some remarkable breakthroughs." Combining human and alien medical techniques, the pilot smiled. "You'll love it here. The Luminari healers are incredible. They have this way of making plants glow with healing energy. I've never seen anything like it in 30 years of flying between stations." As the shuttle docked, Jackson felt his heart rate increase slightly. 28. He had already made a name for himself in xenobotany. But this assignment felt different, special. The reports he'd read about the station's healing gardens had captivated his imagination for months. The Gardens of Light, the station's corridors were wider than typical human construction, designed to accommodate various alien species. Soft bioluminescent strips provided gentle illumination, and the air carried a subtle fragrance of exotic flowers. Jackson followed the directional markers toward the healing gardens, his equipment case rolling smoothly behind him. When the garden doors opened, his breath caught in his throat. The space was enormous, with a domed ceiling that showed the stars beyond, but it wasn't the size that stunned him, it was the light. Plants of every conceivable shape and size filled the terrace levels, each one glowing with its own inner luminescence. Blues, greens, purples, and golds created a symphony of color that seemed to pulse in harmony with some unheard music. "It's beautiful, isn't it?" The voice was like music itself, soft and melodious with an accent he couldn't place. Jackson turned toward the sound and felt his world shift on its axis. She stood among a cluster of silver-leafed plants that glowed with pale blue light. And for a moment, he thought she might be a plant spirit, given form. Her skin held the same luminescent quality as the gardens around her, a soft blue radiance that seemed to come from within. She was tall and graceful, with flowing silver hair that caught the garden's light like starshine. Her eyes were the deep blue of Earth's oceans, and when she smiled, Jackson felt something warm unfurl in his chest. "I'm sorry," he managed, finding his voice. "I didn't mean to stare. I'm Jackson Rivers, the new botanist." She moved toward him with fluid grace, her bare feet making no sound on the soft, moss-like ground cover. "I am Celestina, of the Luminari. I tend these gardens." Her voice carried a musical quality that made every word sound like poetry. "We have been expecting you." The touch as she approached, Jackson noticed details that made his scientific mind race with curiosity. Her skin had a texture like the finest silk, and the bioluminescent patterns that traced along her arms and neck seemed to shift and flow like living tattoos. She wore a simple garment that looked like it had been woven from moonbeams, and around her neck hung a pendant that pulsed with gentle light. "These plants," Jackson said, gesturing to the glowing garden around them. "I've never seen anything like them." The reports mentioned bioluminescence, but this is beyond anything I imagined. Celestina's eyes brightened with enthusiasm. "Each plant contains healing properties unique to its light frequency. The blue ones ease pain, the green restores cellular damage, the gold ones boost immune function." She reached toward a cluster of star-shaped flowers that glowed with soft purple light. "These are my favorites. They heal emotional wounds, bringing peace to troubled minds." Without thinking, Jackson reached toward the same flowers. Their hands touched as they both brushed the delicate petals. The moment their skin made contact, something extraordinary happened. A warm, tingling energy passed between them, and the flowers they were touching blazed brighter, their purple light spreading to the surrounding plants like ripples on a pond. Both Jackson and Celestina gasped, but neither pulled away. "What was that?" Jackson whispered, his voice filled with wonder rather than fear. Celestina's eyes were wide with amazement. "I have never felt such a thing. Your touch. It amplifies the healing energy." She looked down at their joined hands, where a soft golden glow seemed to emanate from their point of contact. This should not be possible. The discovery they stood Therefore several heartbeats, hands still touching, watching as the golden light spread up their arms. Jackson felt more alive than he ever had before, as if every cell in his body was awakening to new possibilities. The sensation wasn't just physical. It was as if their minds were touching, sharing something deeper than words. In all my years tending these gardens, Celestina said softly, I have never seen the plants respond this way to anyone, not even other luminari. Jackson reluctantly stepped back, breaking the contact. The golden glow faded, but the memory of that connection remained, warm and alive in his chest. Is this normal for your people, this energy sharing? Celestina shook her head, her silver hair catching the garden's light. No. We can sense the life force in plants, guide their growth and healing properties. But what just happened between us? It is unprecedented. She led him deeper into the gardens, showing him various sections. The healing pools were injured patients soaked in mineral-rich water, while bioluminescent algae promoted cellular repair. The meditation groves, where beings from different worlds came to find peace among the gently glowing trees. The research laboratories, where human and luminary scientists worked together to understand the mysteries of bioluminescent healing datas. They walked. Jackson found himself studying Celestina with more than scientific interest. The way she moved through the gardens like she belonged to them, how she spoke to the plants in her musical language, and they seemed to respond by glowing brighter. The graceful gestures of her hands as she explained the different healing techniques. How long have you been here? He asked as they paused beside a fountain whose water glowed with soft green light. 3 cycles of our homestar, she replied. I came here as a young healer, eager to learn from other worlds. Now I cannot imagine being anywhere else. These gardens have become part of me, and I part of them. The questions they spent hours together, as Celestina showed him the intricacies of the healing gardens. Reaching for the same plant, guiding each other around obstacles, the same golden energy sparked between them, causing nearby plants to glow brighter and pulse with increased healing power. We should report this phenomenon, Jackson said as they sat together on a bench carved from living wood. Watching the slow dance of luminescent butterflies among the flowers, the implications for healing applications could be revolutionary. Was quiet for a long moment, her blue eyes thoughtful. Yes, we should, she agreed, though something in her voice suggested reluctance. But first, I would like to understand it better. To explore what this connection means. Jackson felt his pulse quicken. You mean study it? Together? She turned to face him fully, and in the garden's gentle light, she looked like a goddess from some ancient myth. I mean discover it. It's bond between us. It feels significant. Important in ways I cannot yet name. The butterflies circled around them, their wings leaving trails of golden sparkles in the air. One landed on Celestina's outstretched finger, its wings pulsing in rhythm with her heartbeat. Another settled on Jackson's shoulder, and he felt its tiny feet like whispers against his skin. My people, Celestina continued, we believe that all life is connected by threads of energy invisible to most eyes. But you, Jackson Rivers, when you touch me, I can see those threads. They glow like the stars themselves. Jackson reached out slowly, giving her time to pull away if she wished. When she didn't, he took her hand in both of his. The golden energy flowed between them again, stronger this time, and every plant in their immediate vicinity began to sing with light. I feel it too, he said quietly. Like everything I've been searching for my whole life just fell into place. Celestina's smile was radiant. Then we will explore this mystery together, you and I. But carefully. There are those among both our peoples who might not understand. As if summoned by her words, heavy footsteps echoed through the garden. A tall, stern-faced human in a military uniform approached, his expression disapproving, as he took in the scene of the two of them sitting close together, surrounded by plants glowing far brighter than normal. Dr. Rivers, the man said in a clipped voice, I am Commander Thorne, Station Administrator. I trust you're finding your accommodations satisfactory, Jackson? And Celestina quickly separated, the golden glow fading as their hands parted. Yes, Commander. Celestina has been showing me the gardens. The healing applications here are remarkable. Thorne's gaze moved between them, lingering on the still glowing plants. Indeed. I hope you'll remember that you're here for scientific research, Doctor. Luminari are our allies. But fraternization between species is strongly discouraged. It can lead to complications. After Thorne left, Celestina touched Jackson's arm gently. He speaks of complications, she said softly. But some things are worth the risk, don't you think? Jackson looked into her luminous eyes and felt the truth of her words resonate in his bones. Whatever was happening between them, whatever this connection meant, he knew his life would never be the same. Yes, he whispered. Some things are definitely worth the risk. As the station's artificial night cycle began, the gardens dimmed to a soft twilight glow. But where Jackson and Celestina sat together, just barely touching, a gentle golden light continued to pulse, like a heartbeat made visible, connecting two souls across the vast differences between their species. 3 weeks had passed since Jackson's arrival at Serenity Station, and his life had transformed in ways he never imagined possible. His official research progressed well, documenting the healing properties of various luminescent plants. But it was his unofficial research that consumed his thoughts every waking moment. He and Celestina met in secret now, away from the watchful eyes of Commander Thorne and the other station personnel. Their favorite spot was a hidden alcove deep within the gardens, where ancient luminari singing trees created a natural sanctuary surrounded by cascading walls of bioluminescent moss. "Tell me about your world," Jackson said one evening as they sat together on the soft, glowing ground. Their hands were intertwined, creating that wonderful golden light that had become as natural to them as breathing. Celestina's eyes grew distant with memory. "Lumina Prima is a world of eternal twilight. Our sun is gentle, casting everything in soft blues and purples. Cities grow from living crystal that responds to our emotions, glowing brighter when we are happy, dimming when we are sad." She smiled. At him, "The buildings would be blazing with light if I were there now." "Because you're happy?" Jackson asked, though he already knew the answer from the way her luminescent patterns danced across her skin. "Because I am complete," she corrected softly. "For the first time in my life, I feel whole." Jackson lifted their joined hands, watching the golden energy flow between their fingers. "I never believed in soulmates until I met you, but this connection we share, it feels like something that was always meant to be." Celestina leaned closer, her silver hair falling like a curtain around them. "My people have legends about the resonance bond, a mythical connection between souls that transcends species and worlds, but it was just a story until now."
"Oh."
"The legends say," Jackson asked, his voice barely above a whisper, "that when two souls find their perfect match, they create a harmony that can heal not just individuals, but entire worlds." She touched his cheek with her free hand, and he felt the warmth of her energy flow through him. That love itself becomes a force of healing. The warning, their peaceful moment, was shattered by approaching footsteps. They quickly separated, the golden glow fading just as an elderly luminary appeared through the moss curtains. The being's skin was a deep sapphire blue, marked with silver patterns that spoke of great age and wisdom. "Elder Voss," Celestina said, rising quickly and bowing respectfully. "I did not expect to see you here." The elder's ancient eyes moved between them, taking in their flushed faces and the plants around them that still glowed with residual energy. "I came because I sensed disturbance in the life force of this station, the new harmony that should not exist." Jackson stood as well, uncertain whether he should bow or extend his hand in greeting. Elder Voss made the decision for him by speaking directly to Celestina, as if he weren't there. "Child of my heart," the elder said in the musical luminari language, "you walk a dangerous path. Human's life force is chaotic, unpredictable. To bond with such a being could corrupt your healing abilities." "With respect, Elder," Celestina replied, switching to standard so Jackson could understand, "my abilities have never been stronger. The bond enhances rather than diminishes my connection to the life force."
Elder Voss's patterns flashed with displeasure.
"You speak of enhancement, but I see addiction. You glow with artificial light, sustained by an alien energy that is not your own. This is not natural harmony, child. This is dependency." Jackson couldn't remain silent any longer. Elder Voss, I understand your concerns, but what Celestina and I share is not harmful. We've been documenting the effects. And every test shows that our bond amplifies healing properties in ways that could benefit both our species. The elder finally looked at him directly, and Jackson felt the weight of ancient wisdom in that gaze. Human, your kind, is known for good intentions that lead to great harm. You see opportunity where we see danger. You seek to possess what should. Remain free. I don't want to possess anything, Jackson said firmly. I want to understand it, to nurture it, to see where it leads. It leads to destruction, Elder Voss said bluntly. Your species bonds quickly, but abandons even more quickly. When you tire of this novelty, when you return to your human mate, what becomes of Celestina? She will be left with a half-light existence, forever seeking the golden glow you gave her and then took away. The deepening, despite the warnings from Elder Voss and the increasingly suspicious glances from Commander Thorne, Jackson and Celestina's bond continued to deepen. They spent every free moment together, exploring not just the gardens, but the mysteries of their connection. One night, as they lay together in Celestina's private quarters, surrounded by the soft glow of her personal garden, Jackson traced the luminescent patterns on her skin with gentle fingers. These markings, he said softly, they're not just beautiful. They're like a map of your emotions, aren't they? Celestina shivered under his touch, her patterns brightening. Yes, among my people, we cannot hide our feelings. The light reveals. All? She turned to face him, her ocean blue eyes serious. That is why what we share is so precious. You have learned to read my light, to understand my heart without words. Jackson leaned down and kissed her gently, feeling the familiar surge of golden energy that flowed between them whenever they touched. But tonight, something was different. The energy felt deeper, more intense, as if their souls were reaching for each other across the vast differences between their species. I love you, he whispered against her lips. Not just the mystery of what we share, but you. Your kindness, your wisdom, your courage in defying both our peoples to be with me. Celestina's entire body blazed with light at his words, so bright that the room filled with golden radiance. And I love you, Jackson Rivers. Your gentle hands, your curious mind, your heart that sees beauty where others see only difference. As they held each other, their energies mingling and flowing, the plants in Celestina's garden began to glow with unprecedented brilliance. Flowers that had been dormant for cycles suddenly bloomed, their petals shimmering with healing light. The very air seemed to thrum with life force. Look, Celestina gasped, pointing to a withered vine in the corner that was suddenly sprouting new growth, its leaves unfurling with golden veins. Our love is giving life to what was dying. Jackson watched in amazement as the transformation spread. Throughout the garden, it's like our bond is becoming a source of healing energy itself. The resonance bond, Celestina whispered. The legends speak of it bringing life to the dead, hope to the hopeless. She looked at him with eyes full of wonder. We are living proof that love can transcend any barrier. The confrontation, their moment of triumph, was short-lived. Alarms began blaring throughout the station, and emergency lights bathed everything in harsh red illumination. Jackson and Celestina quickly dressed and rushed toward the gardens, where they found chaos. Commander Thorne stood in the main garden with a squad of security personnel, while Elder Voss faced him with several other luminari. The two groups looked like they were on the verge of conflict. There they are, Thorne said grimly as Jackson and Celestina appeared. The source of our problems? What's happening? Unauthorized energy readings throughout the station, Thorne replied. Power fluctuations, equipment malfunctions, and reports of plants behaving abnormally. All traced back to this section of the gardens. Elder Voss stepped forward, his patterns flashing with anger. The child has bonded with the human despite our warnings. Their unnatural connection is disrupting the life force of the entire station. It's not unnatural, Celestina protested, moving closer to Jackson. We've been careful studying the effects. Studying. Thorne laughed harshly. You've been conducting unauthorized experiments on station property, Dr. Rivers. You're here on a research visa, not a romance visa. Jackson felt his temper flare.
Ow.
What Celestina and I share is not an experiment. It's a genuine connection that could revolutionize interspecies cooperation. What you share, Elder Voss said coldly, is a dangerous addiction that threatens both. Your peoples, the Luminary Council has voted, you will be separated immediately and transferred to different sectors. No, Celestina said firmly, taking Jackson's hand. The moment their skin touched, golden light flared between them, and every plant in the garden began to glow brighter. We will not be separated. Thorne's hand moved to his weapon. Stand down, both of you. You're confined to quarters pending. Investigation, Commander, a new voice interrupted. A human woman in a medical uniform approached, carrying a data pad. I'm Dr. Petra Wild, xenobiologist. I've been monitoring the energy readings, and I think you need to see this. The Revelation DR. Wild moved to the center of the garden, her scanner beeping steadily. The energy fluctuations aren't random, they're organized, purposeful. The plant life throughout the station is responding to a new form of healing energy. Explain, Thorne said curtly. The bond between Dr. Rivers and Celestina has created a unique bioenergetic field. Instead of disrupting the station's systems, it's actually enhancing them. Healing rates in the medical bay have increased by 40%. Plant growth has accelerated. Even the station's air recycling systems are working more efficiently. Elder Voss looked skeptical. Impossible. Such a bond would create chaos, not harmony. Dr. Wild smiled and gestured to the gardens around them. Look for yourself. Have you ever seen the plants this healthy? It's vibrant. The energy signature I'm reading isn't chaotic. It's the purest healing frequency I've ever encountered. Jackson squeezed Celestina's hand, hope rising in his chest. You see, our bond isn't destructive. It's creative. It's exactly what your legends describe. Furthermore, Dr. Wild continued, I've been in contact with the Interspecies Medical Council. They want to study this phenomenon, if we can understand. How this bond works, it could lead to breakthrough treatments for dozens of diseases. Commander Thorne looked conflicted. Even if that's true, regulations prohibit fraternization between species. I can't simply ignore protocol. With respect, Commander, Dr. Wild said, sometimes protocol needs to evolve. These two have discovered something that could benefit all sapient life. Are we really going to suppress it because it makes us uncomfortable? Elder Voss was quiet for a long moment, his ancient eyes studying Jackson and Celestina. Finally, he spoke. The legends also say that the resonance bond appears only in times of great need, when the universe itself requires healing. He looked directly at Celestina. Perhaps I have been too quick to judge what I do not understand. Celestina stepped forward, her voice respectful but firm. Elder, I ask only for the chance to prove that love can be a force for healing rather than destruction. Let us show you what we can accomplish together. The elder's patterns shifted to a softer blue. Very well, child, but you will be monitored. If this bond proves harmful to either of you or to others, it will be severed. Commander Thorne holstered his weapon. I'll need full documentation of all research, and no more secret meetings. Everything goes through official channels. As the various authorities dispersed, Jackson and Celestina remained in the garden. Still holding hands, their golden light pulsing gently in the artificial twilight. We did it, Jackson said softly. We've bought ourselves time to prove what we know is true. Celestina smiled, her patterns dancing with joy. More than time. We've taken the first step toward showing the universe that love truly can transcend any boundary. Around them, the healing gardens glowed with renewed life, as if the very plants were celebrating the victory of love over fear. The testing six. Months after their confrontation with the authorities, Jackson and Celestina had become the most studied couple in the galaxy. Their quarters had been transformed into a research facility, with monitoring equipment tracking every aspect of their unique bond. Scientists from dozens of worlds had come to observe them, and their story had spread throughout the interspecies community. How do you feel about being famous? Dr. Wild asked during one of their daily sessions. She had become not just their primary researcher, but also their advocate and friend. Jackson looked at Celestina. Their hands joined as always, creating that familiar golden glow. Honestly, I just want to be left alone with the woman I love. But if our bond can help others, then it's worth the attention. Celestina nodded, her luminescent patterns showing calm contentment. We have learned so much about ourselves and each other. The research has revealed that our bond operates on quantum levels, creating healing frequencies that transcend normal biological limitations. Dr. Wilde smiled and made notes on her datapad. The applications are staggering. We've already developed 3 new treatments based on your energy patterns. The medical community is calling it the dawn of a new age of healing. And the best part, Jackson added, is that we're not the only ones. Reports are coming in from across the galaxy of other human-alien pairs discovering similar bonds. It's like our love opened a door that was always meant to be opened. Dr. Wilde's eyes brightened with excitement. Yes, the phenomenon is spreading. We've documented 17 confirmed cases in the past month alone. Each pair seems to create their own unique healing frequency. Their conversation was interrupted by urgent alarms echoing through the station. Emergency broadcasts began flooding the communication channels. Dr. Wilde's face went pale as she read the incoming messages. "What is it?" Celestina asked, her patterns flickering with concern. Dr. Wilde looked up from her communicator with fear in her eyes. There's been an outbreak. Something called the Shadow Plague has appeared simultaneously on 12 different worlds. It's unlike anything we've seen before. It doesn't just kill the body. It seems to drain the life force itself. The crisis within hours. Serenity Station was transformed into a crisis center. Medical teams from across the galaxy converged on the facility, bringing with them data about the mysterious plague that was spreading faster than any known disease. Jackson and Celestina stood in the main conference room, listening to reports that grew more dire by the hour. The plague had already claimed thousands of lives across multiple species. Traditional treatments were proving completely ineffective. The infection appears to target the bioenergetic systems of living beings, Dr. Wilde explained to the assembled medical teams. It creates a kind of energy void that spreads through contact, draining the victim's life force until they simply fade away. Ambassador Corvin, a distinguished luminary diplomat who had arrived that morning, stepped forward. His ancient patterns were dim with worry. On Lumina Prima, entire healing centers have gone dark. Our most powerful healers cannot even slow its progress. Commander Thorne's voice was grim. Earth colonies are reporting similar failures. Our best medical technology is useless against this thing. We need new approaches. Elder Voss, who had remained silent during most of the briefing, suddenly looked directly at Jackson and Celestina. Child, he said to Celestina, show them what your bond can do. All eyes turned to the couple. Celestina looked uncertain. Elder, we have tested our abilities on individual patients, but this plague affects entire populations. The legends speak of the resonance bond appearing in times of great need, Elder Voss said firmly. Perhaps this is why the universe brought you together now, in this moment of crisis? Dr. Wilde pulled up holographic displays showing the plague's progression. The energy signature of the Shadow Plague is essentially the opposite of what we've observed in your bond, where your connection creates and amplifies life force. This plague consumes and destroys it. Jackson studied the data, his scientific mind racing. It's like looking at the negative image of our healing energy. If our bond can create life force, maybe it can also replenish what the plague takes away. The theory is sound, Ambassador Corvin. Agreed, but the scale is unprecedented. To heal entire worlds would require power beyond anything we've seen. Celestina squeezed Jackson's hand, and their familiar golden glow began to pulse between them. But this time, something was different. The light seemed deeper, more complex, as if it were responding to the crisis around them. I can feel it, she whispered. Our bond is changing, growing stronger. It's like the universe itself is amplifying our connection. The solution over the next several hours, Jackson and Celestina worked with teams of scientists to understand their evolving abilities. What they discovered defied all known laws of physics and biology. Their bond had become a kind of living generator of life force energy, when they focused their intention on healing. The golden light that flowed between them could be channeled and directed with pinpoint accuracy. More importantly, they discovered that their energy could be transmitted across vast distances through quantum entanglement principles. "It's incredible," Dr. Wild breathed as she monitored their latest test. "You're not just healing individual cells anymore. You're actually restoring the fundamental life force patterns that the plague destroys." Ambassador Corvin watched the readings with amazement. The energy signatures matched the oldest luminary healing frequencies, the ones from our creation myths. "It's as if you've tapped into the original source of all life." Elder Voss nodded slowly. The resonance bond was always more than just connection between two souls. It's connection to the universal life force itself. You have become conduits for the very essence of existence, Commander Thorne, ever practical, focused on the logistics. Even if this works, how do we deploy it? We're talking about healing 12 different worlds simultaneously. Jackson and Celestina looked at each other, and in that moment, they both understood what needed to be done. Their bond had grown beyond their individual selves. It had become something larger, something that belonged not just to them, but to all life in the galaxy. "We won't be doing it alone," Celestina said quietly. "The other bonded pairs we've discovered. If we can synchronize our energies, create a network of healing force across the galaxy." "A resonance web," Jackson added, excitement building in his voice. "Each bonded pair becomes a node in a galaxy-spanning healing network. Together, we might have enough power to counter the plague." Dr. Wild was already working on the calculations. "The quantum mechanics are complex, but theoretically possible. We'd need to establish communication links with all the known bonded pairs and coordinate a simultaneous healing pulse." The network the next 24 hours were a blur of preparation and coordination. Communication arrays were established with the 17 confirmed bonded pairs scattered across the galaxy. Each couple had their own unique energy signature, but all shared the same fundamental golden healing frequency that Jackson and Celestina had first discovered. As the network came online, something beautiful began to happen. The individual bonds started to resonate with each other, creating harmonics and amplifications that grew stronger with each new connection. "It's like a cosmic symphony," Celestina observed as she monitored the energy readings. "Each pair contributes their own unique note, but together we're creating music that transcends what any of us could produce alone." The bonded pairs included humans with luminary like Jackson and Celestina, but also humans with crystalline Xanathari, gaseous Vorthan, cloud beings, and even a human-AI hybrid consciousness that had achieved an emotional bond. Each partnership brought its own special qualities to the growing network. "Diversity of connection creates strength of healing," Elder Voss observed with satisfaction. "Perhaps this is the true lesson of the resonance bond, that love itself, in all its forms, is the ultimate healing force in the universe." As the final preparations were completed, Jackson and Celestina took their positions in the center of the healing gardens, surrounded by monitoring equipment and support teams. The other bonded pairs were similarly positioned on their respective worlds and stations. "Are you ready for this?" Jackson asked, taking Celestina's hands in his. Around them, the entire garden began to glow in anticipation. "With you," she replied, her patterns blazing with love and determination. "I'm ready for anything." The synchronized healing pulse began at exactly the same moment across all participating locations. As Jackson and Celestina joined their energies with the network, the sensation was unlike anything they had ever experienced. Their individual golden light merged with streams of energy from across the galaxy. Colors they had no names for flowed through their consciousness as the healing network activated. They could feel the presence of each bonded pair, their love and determination, adding strength to the growing wave of life force energy. The plague fought back. As the healing energy reached the infected worlds, they could sense the shadow plague's resistance, its hunger for the very life force they were trying to restore. But love proved stronger than destruction, its creation more powerful than consumption. One by one, the plague-darkened worlds began to brighten on the monitoring displays. Life force readings that had plummeted to critical levels started climbing, back toward normal ranges. The healing energy didn't just cure the plague, it strengthened the very foundations of life itself. "It's working," Dr. Wilde announced, her voice filled with awe. "Life force readings are stabilizing across all 12 affected worlds. The plague is retreating." The network had become something more than just a healing tool. As the bonded pairs maintained their connection, they found themselves sharing not just energy, but experiences, emotions, and understanding. Human consciousness touched alien thought patterns, creating new forms of empathy and connection that transcended species barriers. "We're not just healing the plague," Jackson realized, as the experience reached its crescendo. "We're healing the divisions between all our peoples, creating understanding where there was once fear." Celestina's consciousness merged with his in the flow of universal life force. "This is what we were always meant to do, not just love each other, but help all life love and understand each other." The new Donnas, the healing pulse completed its work, and the network gradually powered down. A profound silence fell over the healing gardens. The plague had been defeated, but more than that, something fundamental had changed in the relationship between the galaxy's many species. Reports began flooding in from across the known worlds. Not only had the shadow plague been completely eradicated, but the healing energy had left lasting positive effects. Crop yields were increasing, birth rates were rising, and even old conflicts between species were beginning to resolve, as former enemies found new understanding. "The resonance effect is continuing," Dr. Wilde reported with amazement. "Even though the active network has been shut down, the healing frequencies are sustaining themselves. It's like you've created a permanent upgrade to the galaxy's life force infrastructure." Ambassador Corvin approached Jackson and Celestina, his ancient patterns glowing with gratitude. "On behalf of the Galactic Council, I want to thank you both. What you've accomplished here will be remembered for millennia. You've proven that love truly is the strongest force in the universe." Elder Voss joined them, his expression softer than they had ever seen it. "I must ask your forgiveness, child," he said to Celestina. "I feared what I did not understand. But now I see that the resonance bond was always meant to be shared, to grow, to connect not just to souls, but all souls." Commander Thorne, looking somewhat overwhelmed by the cosmic implications of what had just occurred, cleared his throat. "I suppose I'll need to file a report about this, though I'm not sure how to classify saving the galaxy through the power of love in official documentation. File it under humanity. F asterisk asterisk asterisk." "Yeah," Dr. Wilde suggested with a grin, "because that's exactly what this is. Humans and our alien partners proving that together we can overcome anything." The Forever Bond 1 year later, Serenity Station had been transformed into the galaxy's first institute for resonance bond studies. Couples from hundreds of species came to learn about their own potential for connection and healing. The station's gardens had grown to encompass multiple levels, each one designed for different forms of life to find harmony together. Jackson and Celestina stood on their favorite observation deck, watching ships arrive from across the galaxy, carrying new couples eager to explore the possibilities of interspecies love. Their own bond had continued to evolve, becoming deeper and more complex with each passing day. "Do you ever miss the simplicity of our early days together?" Jackson asked, his arms wrapped around Celestina, as they watched a beautiful sunset through the station's transparent dome. Celestina leaned back against his chest, her patterns glowing with contentment. "Sometimes, but then I think about all the lives we've touched, all the love we've helped bring into the universe, and I know we're exactly where we're meant to be." A small group of newly bonded couples walked past them in the gardens below, their own unique energy signatures creating a rainbow of healing light. Human woman and her Vorthon cloud-being partner floated together in perfect harmony. A Xanthari crystal being and his human husband sparkled with shared energy. To humans and their AI, consciousness partner glowed with technological biological fusion. "Look at them," Celestina said softly. "Each one proof that love recognizes no boundaries, no species barriers, no limits of any kind." Jackson kissed the top of her head, breathing in the sweet scent of her silver hair. We started something beautiful, didn't we? We completed something beautiful, she corrected. The universe was always meant to be connected by love. We just reminded it how. As the artificial stars began to twinkle overhead and the gardens settled into their evening glow cycle, Jackson and Celestina remained on their deck, their hands intertwined, their hearts beating in perfect synchrony. Round them, the station hummed with the contentment of thousands of beings who had found love across the vast differences between worlds. Their golden light pulsed gently in the gathering darkness, a beacon that could be seen from far across the galaxy, calling to all those who still searched for their perfect match, for they had proven beyond any doubt that love was indeed the strongest force in the universe, capable of healing any wound, bridging any gap, and connecting any two souls brave enough to reach across the void and touch. In the end, their story became legend, but it was a living legend. One that continued to grow and spread as more couples discovered their own resonance bonds. And somewhere in the quantum foam that connected all things, their love continued to sing. An eternal song of healing that would echo through the cosmos for all time. The alien girl had indeed said he made her feel warm. And when she pulled him closer, she had pulled the entire galaxy into a new age of love, understanding, and hope.